Chapter 11, Mediated Communications. Group 3, which is me, Kylie Lynn, Ashley Nolan, and Alicia Pruitt. What is mediated communication? Any message in which there is a device, third party, or electronic mechanism that facilitates communication between the sender and receiver. It is any communication that occurs through a medium, for example, through television, social media, newspaper, email, texting, etc. It can be divided into two subcategories, mass personal and interpersonal media. And why is it important? It helps us communicate with people from anywhere and changes how we share information. There are three different types of mediated communications: mass media, which is television, radio, newspaper, film, and CMC, or computer mediated, which is our emails, texting, or social media. And then hybrid forms is kind of a mix of both audio and visual, which is our podcast, YouTube, and live streaming. Interpersonal media, channels that provide individuals with direct and one-to-one interaction, such as texting, phone, or video calls. Mass personal media is a blend of interpersonal media with mass communication to provide individuals with direct and large audience interaction. A huge example of this is social media. There are four different theories that we're going to talk about throughout this PowerPoint. The first one is channel expansion theory, which is individuals select communication channels based on channel characteristics, individual experiences, and social influence. The social information processing theory, which identifies three phases of computer mediated communication, which range from impersonal to interpersonal to hyperpersonal, with associated issues of impression management. Okay. Sorry. I'll edit this part out. Wait. Okay. Okay. Uses and gratification. Users select particular media to both meet their own needs and because of the affordances the media provides. We'll talk about the main model, which is modality, agency, interactivity, and navigability. Spiral of silence, which is individuals who believe they hold a minority point of view and will refrain from expressing that point of view publicly. The channel expansion theory. It provides an example of how theories change and grow by extension. Specifically, channel expansion theory was developed in response to inconsistencies in its predecessor, media richness theory. It was developed by Daft and Lingle in 1986. As new communication technologies or channels develop, the decision about the best way to send a message becomes more complex. Communicators should consider a message complexity first, then select an appropriate channel based on that medium's richness. Channel expansion theory builds on its premise by adding the concepts of individual experience and social influence. According to Daft and Lingle, communication channels vary in their information carrying capacity or media richness. We can objectively determine the richness of a medium by assessing four channel characteristics. One, the speed of feedback, meaning synchronous or asynchronous capacities. Two, the ability to personalize the message. Three, the availability of multiple nonverbal cues. And four, language variety. Consequently, face to face interactions are considered the most rich, with various electronic media falling in the middle, and mass produced or mass printed materials appearing as lean media.
Social information processing model. While media richness and channel expansion theories emphasize mediated communication within organizations, Walter's social information processing model examines the way digital or computer mediated communication in interpersonal contexts. The SIP model is a blend of properties of both interpersonal and mediated communications. 5 assumptions ground the SIP model. The first assumption is that humans are social creatures that seek connection. Number two is that we use a series of verbal and nonverbal exchanges to form interpersonal impressions of others. Three, the possibility of moving from an interpersonal contact to a relational one depends on the impressions formed. Presuming a positive impression increases relational communication. Four, assumption characterizes relational messages as verbal or nonverbal, linguistic or text based. In other words, relational messages are not limited only to verbally spoken or physically observed exchanges. We can effectively use text forms to substitute for face to face conversations. Number five, the processes of developing mutual understanding and relational communication take longer when using text forms and CMC. Together, these assumptions form 6 propositions that explain how individuals use CMC to develop interpersonal impressions and to advance relational communication over time online. 3 phases of mediated communication. The 3 phases are impersonal, interpersonal, and hyperpersonal. Impersonal means task-oriented communication with little personal information provided. Interpersonal means users adapt to the CMC environment in an effort to create more personal interactions. Hyperpersonal means individuals present a carefully monitored impression of themselves. The hyperpersonal model. The hyperpersonal model assumes that communicators adapt to the medium, expressing socio-emotional messages with whatever digital characteristics exist. The hyperpersonal model extends SIP by focusing on ways in which advances in communication technology influence. The hyperpersonal model senders engage in selective self-presentation. Senders also strategically exaggerate this digital self-image. An example of this on social media would be enhancing our photos or selfies with filters to present a better, more polished version of ourselves. Receivers also engage in exaggeration. Walter and Whitty argued that when hyperpersonal receivers assume an unknown sender is more similar to themselves, they put more trust in the sender. An example of this would be looking through reviews for products. We consider the ones that are the most like us. Receivers distort assumed similarity with senders. More about the hyperpersonal model. Channel in the hyperpersonal model emphasizes the technology and temporal qualities of a medium, such as crafting and cultivating an edited self-image. Interpersonal media forms like texting, emailing, DMs, etc., afford control to the message creator. Creating a text now, but setting it to be sent at a future point in time exaggerates the message temporal quality. The receiver doesn't know that you crafted the response and delayed sending it. Feedback in today's hyperpersonal model is primarily one of scale. The explosion of mass personal has created large audiences for interpersonal messages. We can like, care, follow, and share content, so therefore we're acknowledging the message and reacting to it. Feedback can either be overly positive or overly negative. Beyond changes in sender, receiver, channel, and feedback, the hyperpersonal model addresses the fact that relationships formed over digital media may very well move from virtual to physical environments. Uses and Gratifications 2.0 emphasizes active audiences and focus on receivers' motivations for using various media forms. 3 assumptions make up the uses and gratifications approach. The first one is that media usage isn't passive, involuntary, or coerced. Audience members actively choose and use media to fulfill certain needs. Number 2 is that mass communication doesn't just happen to you, nor do the mass media do anything to you. Individuals choose to watch, read, or listen to mass media sources. Number 3, media outlets compete with other available means of satisfying personal needs. We have many ways to fulfill our needs. You may fulfill your need to relax by choosing to watch a movie, which is mass media, or scroll through Facebook, social media, or FaceTime with a friend or family, which would be interpersonal media. You may also choose to meet your needs by going on a walk, dancing, or taking a hot shower. Thus, the mediated options represent only a handful of alternatives available to you. Motivations for media selection. So 4 of the motivations are entertainment, information, personal identity, or personal relationships and social interaction. Media affordances. Media affordances help to extend uses and gratifications to digital media use. There are 4 categories of affordances in digital media: modality, agency, interactivity, and navigatability, also known as the MAIN or the main model. Modality: ways in which a medium can appeal to different senses. Agency is the implication that users are their own gatekeepers of content. They can create, contribute, share, and critique content. Interactivity, the presumption that users are simultaneously sources and receivers of content and can adapt or make changes to the content in real time. Navigatability, the ease with which users can move through or navigate a medium. Sundar also argued that a medium's features influence the nature of content.
Okay, you all may have to skip the slides for me because it won't let me. Spiral silence, the complex interaction between individuals' opinions, interpersonal networks, media consumption, and the expression of public opinion. Noelle Newman hypothesized that I can't talk today, that when one's personal views don't align with what is perceived to be the majority view, particularly with moral, controversial, or highly emotional issues, that individual will remain silent out of fear of social isolation. Public opinion, the sum of beliefs about controversial issues, I can't read from my phone, that one feels comfortable expressing publicly without fear of social or isolation. Sorry, I gotta zoom in. I can't see. Pluralistic ignorance, distortion. I can't see, y'all. This is awful. And perception of the dominant view whereby we perceive public opinion to be either farther from or close to our own opinion that it actually is. 3 assumptions make up a spiral of silence. Assumptions of a spiral of silence. Because humans are social creatures, we seek inclusions of fear, social isolation, arguing that society isolates people who don't conform. Isolation pressure is when people exclude or ridicule individuals who don't seem aligned with social norms of public opinion. And because we fear this exclusion, we avoid presenting ourselves in ways that are contrary to the majority. Individuals who will routinely monitor the opinion climate and controversial topics, social issues, and political views. This is called the quasi-statistical sense. Our fear of isolation and our ability to sense public opinion influences whether we will express our views publicly. Noelle Newman argued that we will silence our opinions if we think they diverge from the larger opinion climate. If we believe that our views contradict other popular sentiment, we will stifle these beliefs. Having to zoom in is really hard. Sources of public opinion. 3 characteristics render media opinions to influence public opinion: accumulation and okay, the preservance of mass media is everywhere. Cumulation, the reference to media to repeat views, stories across and between outlets, as well as over time. What you see, read, and hear regarding political and other social issues is likely to mirror what some other city, state, and region see, reads, and hears. Constants, the significance of congruence and the similarity between journalists themselves, these shared values and mutual sources led to reciprocal influence. Advancing the spiral, social media. Noelle Newman's work hard uniquely advanced understanding of media's effects by demonstrating the isolation pressure of Gouache's statistical sense of self-censorship interact to create a chilling effect that spirals over time due to the media's pervasive influence. Extended to the media and social media, these silencing effects may persist, but in different ways. Chapter summary, we looked at our 4 theories that helped foster our understanding of meditated communication. We channeled the expansion theory and MRT, which is media rich theory, and hyperpersonal model uses and gratifications and spiral of silence. Any questions? Citation. Oh,
Okay, I think we're good, right? I can edit
listen,
all
that
that.
was
Yeah.
that was so hard trying to zoom in. Can y'all see me zooming in?